Hey, it is August 9th. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com, presented by Mungenast, St. Louis Acura, and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by the recovering Bob Ramsey. Rammer, you were out on Friday getting knee surgery. Before we get into any of the Cardinal talk, how are you feeling?
Well, pain pills are helping me get through. I had knee replacement, so this has been an adventure, to say the least. And it's just plugging along, day 4, just grinding through it. And a lot of folks have wished me well, and I appreciate that. And just trying to get it done. I'll tell you what, adding insult to injury was watching the Cardinals play this weekend.
They won 2 out of 3.
Horribly.
They still won.
It's a bad product, and it's a team that can't hit, and it's not going to get any better. So There's the end of the podcast. See you next spring.
Well, unfortunately, Mungenast and Royal Banks have signed in for a full season of this. So, in order to keep getting paid and that, we might as well keep on trucking on with.
That's why you're in charge.
But
I always have the drugs excuse. So
they have, and we talked about this, and I just talked about this with Claibs, and I'll talk about it again. They have the schedule in front of them where if they are capable of making any kind of moves, it's right there. The schedule allows it with 3 games coming up against the Pirates and then 3 more against the Royals. It's there for the taking.
Okay. That response is not very good broadcasting, but yeah, I'll give you that. But I think you've still got to play games to the end of September, and I think that's where we run into problems. For this team to make any sort of accomplishment out of this season, hugely dramatic changes would have to happen. Hugely dramatic. And I don't see that. You're going to get a little better in your rotation. That's good. But despite the injuries and the horrible month of June with pitching, it's the offense. Look, let's come on. We got to be honest. If we're not going to be honest on a podcast, where can people turn for honesty? You got 3 decent hitters. 3. 2 of them, it's quite possible, are on the downhill side of their career. The other one, though, could be ascending, and from his number 1 critic, I'm now Tyler O'Neill's number 1 fan, to the point that I took exception with him getting ripped a little bit on a couple of his throws over the weekend. That's me being a fanboy now, so we'll eliminate that.
Giving him an air yesterday was complete bullshit on that. That was ridiculous.
I thought Kisner and Yachty both should have made plays on 2 of the throws. The only one, though, and he did get an air for it, was one that sailed on him past the cutoff man Arenado. That was fair. That was an error. But the other one's got to be handled, right? You were a catcher. You got to catch those.
Yeah.
You got to be in a better spot. Anyway, but O'Neill should be hitting in the top 3. But the problem is you got nobody to hit behind Arenado if he hits 4th. It's the offense is just not good. There's no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way to say, yeah, but if. No, it's not good. You've either got young guys who aren't ready, players who have established what their level is as mediocre at best players, or, as I said, veterans who are still capable but are on the other side of the bell curve. And let's face it, it's Goldschmidt, Arenado, and Yachty. They're still good players, but they're not the transcendent players offensively they once were. So this is a mess. This is a mess. And I'll tell you this, I wouldn't be surprised if Arenado doesn't come back.
I don't see that happening this year, but I do think that having a bad season is affecting any kind of future negotiations they might have with him past 2022. But that's something we can get to.
That's down the line. You're right.
Yeah, down the line for that. Coming up this week, we will preview the series more in depth tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have answers tomorrow, because right now the series is set up with your starting rotation listed as to be determined for Thursday's starter. Jack Flaherty has made it known that he wants to start on Thursday, and Mike Claiborne just brought up the fact that why put him there Thursday when he has to hit, where you can have him start Friday, where you can have a DH, and thus eliminating that aspect of the game that got him hurt to begin with. Why not push that first at bat back another week and steal a start out of him?
And here's the thing, because it doesn't matter. So take care of your player. I agree with Claibs 100%. Push him back, get him on Friday, and take care of your guy.
And that still sets him up to be able to pitch against Milwaukee. So
yeah. And does it cost him a start? I hadn't done the math and gone through the whole schedule, but probably not. So, stretch it out, and then the question will be, and maybe we can look more into this tomorrow because I haven't done it yet. How are you going to start? How are these changes by the end of the week going to start affecting the pitching staff as far as who's on the roster, who's not, and where they go?
Yeah, and you do have some names there. I haven't looked at who has options to go down to AAA and how that would work out. But you know what? That's not a problem you have to come up with until Thursday or Friday. And it's funny how baseball works, that those things tend to answer themselves at some point during the week.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Somebody will come up with an ouchie. Probably.
You would think so. One guy that has pitched very well since returning from his ouchie is Andrew Miller, and I'm a little surprised by how little he's been used, especially in big time situations. And I talked about this on Friday when Brendan Schaefer was filling in for you, and I'll bring it up with you again because we have seen once again that Andrew Miller has not been utilized to the point that he was signed for. And I know that it hasn't been the greatest 3 years of his career here in St. Louis, but at least give him that opportunity to prove something on his way out and see exactly what you have there in a bullpen that isn't the best in baseball.
And we dissected it last week, and I forgot to bring Miller up. That's on me. When you want to use Gallegos and when you want to use Cabrera and the lefties versus the lefties and that sort of thing. The top three in the order with Albies against the Braves last week, we had Albies, Freeman. Would that have been the three batters Miller would have been perfect for? You would like to have talked to Schilt about that. Again, Mike's going with the formula that worked in April, May, and June like clockwork. So I get it. But when things are going bad, I think you have to make adjustments and kind of figure out who gives you the best chance at that moment and to set things up. And what happens is the formula can go haywire when one of the pieces of the formula doesn't do what they're supposed to do. So adaptability within that is really important. So we'll see how maybe they'll use him more this week.
Before we get to our hats for the day, Rammer, a word from our friends at Royal Banks.
Royal Banks is always there for you. They've been there for me. I've got a home equity credit line through Royal Banks. Also through the COVID banking opportunities, Royal Banks was there for me. They were there for individuals. They were there for small businesses. They can be there for you, whether it's a checking account, a new mortgage, or first-time home equity credit lines with an unbelievable opportunity for you. Call 314-212-1500 or go online at royalbanksmo.com. Royal Banks, where better service means better banking. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
I see you sporting that Fleetwood Mac shirt, Rammer. What's on the hat?
The hat, I just got it. It's brand new. It is my new edition of St. Louis U basketball. Got a logo, and so it's the brand new one, so it gets worn, and that's today. What are you going with there?
This is I got my college too. One of my leatherneck hat. Yeah.
Nice.
I saw I was there for homecoming a few years ago. The baseball coach at the time was there tailgating with the hat on. I liked it, so I immediately went to the team store and bought one of my own. So
that's nice. No, I dig the leathernecks. Well, between Billikens and leathernecks, you're not going to find many more unique team nicknames.
They're the only one of their kinds for both of those. No repeats for those mascots. Really not. I mean, high schools don't even have. I mean, there's no high school leathernecks. I don't think there's out the junior bills, but outside of that,
that's it. Yep.
There's no. In another state, there's not a Billikens playing basketball anywhere.
No, it's crazy, and finally, after a long time, some people say they get worn out. What's a Billiken? Well, I don't blame other people for knowing, because it's such an odd story, and in addition, it's not very interesting. But I think it's important to go through the motions for people and let them know what the deal is.
Yeah, I have the different. I mean, I feel like leathernecks, and the story behind that is an interesting one. So I enjoy when people ask me about that. So yeah.
Well, anytime that you're you have an association with the United States Marine Corps, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Rammer, that's going to do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow, a full series preview against the Pirates. 3 games coming up this week, an important week if the Cardinals want to make any kind of noise at all in the playoff race for the final 7-8 weeks of the season right now. So we will we'll have plenty to discuss when we do the show live tomorrow here on ClaibsOnline.com. This has been another edition of Daily Cards Live, presented by Mungenast, St. Louis Acura, and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick. He's Bob Ramsey. We'll talk to you tomorrow, everyone.
St. Louis Acura is excited to announce the opening of our newly remodeled service lounge. We sell pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models and take pride in servicing what we sell. We offer free pickup and delivery service and a complimentary car wash and vacuum with every service. We also have a full-service reconditioning shop on site that can repair dents, bumpers, and wheels. As the nation's only 29-time Acura Precision Team winner for customer satisfaction, we work every day to make St. Louis Acura better than ever for you.